confusing Monday morning so far. Hey, everyone. Hail Satan. That's right, Cindy Plaza. Good morning.
There we are. Hey, now that Emmanuel Macron has won,
He
can we
has one.
start calling him macaroon again?
You can call him that, sure. Macaroon, Macarena. You can call him anything, right? We're Americans.
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, I just assumed that if you're living on the continent, then you're an American.
Oh,
right?
yeah, okay. I'm a North American, sure. I'm in the American hemisphere, as a matter of fact.
Yes, you are. That's this hemisphere, by the way. I'm just going to try to say as many stupid things as possible.
Sure. So, you did not take a drink from your cup the whole time.
No, there was just so much to cover. There was just a lot to cover this morning to do that one story some justice. And so and especially since I was obviously confused with some technical issues this morning.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I had the first show on this channel and I had to switch it over, and it was just a bit, and I didn't realize that until the last minute. So yeah,
it was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing, at least from my angle. I'm sure it looked flawlessly from everybody else's angle.
Was to me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Huh? How was your weekend, man?
I may have been exposed to COVID.
Oh no, that's horrible. How did that happen?
Excuse me, I have to press the cough button.
I understand. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, you're okay?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear.
So I just have to take it easy for a bit. Don't spread what I have to anyone else, if it even is COVID.
Now, did you take a rapid test?
I might. Thing is that I'm getting over a cold.
Oh, and dude. Yeah, that's tough.
And yes, and so am I. I don't feel my symptoms getting worse. So.
Well, yeah. Oh, Tobin's here. I haven't seen Tobin for a while. Tobin's
here.
What's up, man?
Hello, Tobin.
I made it.
You did make it.
I'm back.
Have you been fighting the technology? I sound like an 80-year-old man at the home. Have you been fighting the technology, Tobin?
No, I got one of those damn jobs, dude.
Dude, I saw in Messenger. I saw that you've been doing the job thing. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, or should I say congratulations? I don't know what I should say. I'm being socially awkward right now.
It's mutual because I have mixed feelings about it too. I hate it, but I'm kind of like, it is kind of being helpful in a way.
Yeah, money helps. I've been thinking about, my hours have expanded at work at my day job, and I'm getting closer to working full time. And my girlfriend's like, "Do you even want to work full time?" It's like, yeah, exactly, Tobin. It's like, don't get me wrong. I've always worked more than one job too. They've been low-paying jobs typically, but I have always worked more than one job. And this is, and I consider what I do here on YouTube and on Only Sky as a as work. But in terms of not having work that pays, right? Because that's why, I need work that pays money. And so that's why, that's why I told the girlfriend, it's like, I need work that pays money. And so that's why ideally I would like to go up to 40 hours at my day job. Rage. Hello, Rage.
Good to hear.
Nakasuchi.
There he is.
How are y'all doing?
Hello.
Good.
I'm actually awake.
You're one bowl in?
I'm only one bowl in, but I've been up for a while. I'm actually awake. I've here for like the last 2 months. I've been working so much. I'm doing, I don't know, 65, 70 hours a week. So it's I wake up, I take my daughter to school, and then I come home and go back to sleep. So.
What are you doing? You're doing 3 to 11s?
Pretty much. It fluctuates, but usually it's 2 to midnight is what I've been doing. But we've hired a bunch of people. So I work for a rather new weed company. They're all over the place here. So I've just been, while I could, I put in all the hours I could to make up for lost time and all the bills I had to pay. So I caught up, and now it's like we've hired people. So this week I'm only working like 3 days. So it's awesome.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
They're giving me a little break this week, and then next week it's back at it. So
Yeah. And Tobin, from what I understand, you're working. What are you doing? You're doing like morning shifts or evening shifts, or what are you doing?
Man, that's the thing that I really don't like, and I'm going to end up saying something like I'm going in the morning or working really late at night, like until like 11:20 was and then going in really early in the morning, like I hardly get enough time to get enough sleep. If I'm out of the restaurant at 11:20, it takes me at least 20 minutes to get home. I don't just go straight home to bed because I want to eat. And then there's hygiene. Hygiene is important too.
Man, if you're working restaurant, there's that wind down period afterwards. I worked it for so long, like you just can't come home and go right to sleep. I can't do it in my new job, and shit, I'm surrounded by weed.
There was a thing.
Right? You have a job selling weed now? What?
Yeah. So I work for a weed company. It's the booming business here in Michigan, but in my town especially, they're everywhere.
So what are you doing for weed? Where are you in the big weed?
What do you want them to do, Andy?
Well, I'm management, so I do a bunch of things. Sometimes I'm running a part of the farm. Other times I'm at the store. Sometimes I'm behind a counter selling the weed because we don't have a counter person. So it just all depends on what they need from me that day.
Wow! And so
my favorite part is working at the farm. I love working at the farm.
I'm going to ask the question that's on all of our minds. Do you get a discount?
Oh yeah, I get 50% off. Yeah. And then if there's like sometimes we'll have bad batches. We get first dibs on that. We don't have to pay for it. So
here's my next question: can you send stuff across state lines?
Not legally.
Too bad. It's too bad.
Hopefully,
throw it across state lines.
Yeah,
Have a friend and just catch.
We could probably throw it. Hopefully Biden will grow some balls and we'll do something about that. So maybe we can start maybe you'll have it as well.
I think the best way for the Democrats to get votes in November is just to legalize it.
He said he never would, but I mean, like at this point, you got to, dude. You got to do something to take, to kind of swing the momentum.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the place where I'm working, I hear a bunch of Biden jokes. Like they knock on him all day.
Oh, yeah, I hear it too, nonstop. And a nostalgia for Trump. I get that a lot. People are just missing Trump right now.
At the weed place?
Oh yeah, it's but I mean, I live in Battle Creek. This is sovereign citizen territory here. So nothing but crazies.
Wow.
I was talking to this girl and we were gonna start dating, and then I started looking at her Facebook page and it was all this crazy Trumper shit, and I'm like, nope, we're good.
What's that expression? Okay. Just no.
Here's another question, Rage. If she was, is there a hotness to what you're willing to tolerate level? So if there was, and I guess I'm just asking.
I thought so. I really did. I thought so. But I guess there really isn't. It was super weird. I really liked the girl until I started reading her politics, and it was like, I don't like you anymore.
And you haven't tricked yourself, and this is a sign of maturity too, by the way. Rage, you have decided that you're not going to try to fix her or to change her.
No, yeah, that wouldn't happen. And it's like it's like, why do you even like me? I'm like a socialist.
She wants some of that socialism.
Yeah, maybe she's maybe she was trying to rebel against it, and I kind of messed that up. Who knows?
Right. No, man.
I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But like Tobin, if you're in the restaurant business, man, I feel for you. it's rough, man. It's rough.
When I was in my 20s, I would close and then come back in at like 6 or maybe 5, something like that, right? So our restaurant would close at 11. I was cooking, so I'd be out 11:30, quarter of 12 after cleaning up everything. I would go home. I'd come back to work. And because I didn't have a key to the restaurant, there were a couple of times I had to wait for my boss to come in with the keys to open up. It's like, dude, why don't you just give me some keys?
Yeah. At first there, I thought you said you was on cocaine and not cooking. I was like, what?
Well, what's fucking my
makes sense. But yeah, it's such a rough life, and they take advantage of their employees.
They do.
Nonstop cooking and serving. But it can also be rewarding, especially if you're a people person. That was the thing that I always liked about it.
Yeah,
there's also a lot of sex abuse in the restaurant industry. If you're a woman,
yeah. Me Too definitely hasn't hit that industry yet. Definitely.
Yeah.
What's up, D Parks?
Hey, D.
But I doubt that. So Rage, you haven't been on the show for a while. You've been working a lot. Do you have any new interesting insights on the political scene that's going on, or on the social scene? Because I know we've just been talking about weed and working and all this other stuff, but with all the crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. I'm more pro-Ukraine than I was a few weeks ago, I think. Just by the nature of just what's going on there. I think I've been able to kind of pull myself out of that anti-war stance. I'm not going to support war regardless, and be like, yeah, Ukraine is they're doing a good thing. Also, the Marjorie Taylor Greene trial. I've been looking at that today, thinking about covering it. I find it fascinating, that she can just be so blatantly open with her treason until she's under oath, and then it's a different story altogether. So I find that fascinating. The Trump is definitely running again. Joe Biden telling Obama that he's running again. So I think politics are starting to get interesting again for me.
Oh yeah,
they've been kind of boring. So.
A weird thing about MTG is that when she's on trial, and I'm really enjoying this, is that he'll be asked the question, did you ever accuse so-and-so of treason? And she'll say, no, I didn't do that. And then he'll say, pull up slide 36. And then she'll say, oh, wait. And so anyone who's questioning her can assume she's going to have to lie.
Yeah.
So you solicit questions that will, where she will lie. And you automatically have the backup on hand because she's going to lie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm finding it really interesting.
That was my favorite part when she, with the whole Nancy Pelosi thing. Did you ever call Nancy Pelosi a traitor? She's like, no, I didn't do it. Pull up exhibit, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
It was the whole world saw you say it,
Right. Well, was that the one where she had a petition to have her charged with treason?
I think so. I think it's something. I mean, she's been going after Nancy Pelosi, and I'm sure Andy would agree with this as a lefty that I'm not a big fan of Nancy, but because of people like her, I have to defend this person I really don't like that much.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like you were saying about the Ukraine situation, I am anti-authoritarian, of course, and I have a certain. And when you look at the history of the Ukrainians with the Russians, or with the Russians with the Finns, or the Russians with the Poles, or the Russians with Eastern Europe, or in the Caucasus, I don't want to say that the Russians have been causing trouble in those areas for centuries, but they've been causing trouble in those areas for centuries.
Well, yeah, and my thing is, like the issue that I've had with Ukraine is, all right, Russia's clearly the bad guy here, right? Ukraine is clearly in the right. Whatever you think about their government, I mean, the corruption is established. I mean, it's kind of odd that people are harping on that now, when that's just been the case for so long. And Zelensky is actually cleaning that up. That there's all indicators that he was cleaning that up. So it's kind of weird that you're harping on that now. But my thing was like, if we're going to be supportive of it, then we should be supportive of it. And I, my opinion is as anti-war as I am. If we're going to do something about Russia, now's the time to do it. And we need to have foots on the ground. We need to have soldiers there, protecting these people. or we need to shut up about it and just let Russia do whatever the hell they're going to do, because it doesn't seem like we're willing to really put our asses on the line against this authoritarian state that has motivation.
I would say that the craziest thought I've had, and I don't think I've vocalized this a whole lot, is that if we were serious about really protecting at least part of the Ukraine, we'd have troops west of the Dnieper. So, in other words, in the non-contested territories of Ukraine, and it would be pretty much segregating the country.
We should at least be giving them weapons. Like I don't understand like the whole not giving them the MiGs thing.
We are. Oh, by the way, Tobin, no hair on the chin. You're now like clean shaven.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody taking one of my goatee hairs and like wrapping it around their arm like an extension cable, being like, where's it in, pulling it out of their food.
Right.
Yeah.
So back to the Ukraine thing for a minute, is that we have just started sending them like decent artillery pieces, and the thing is about the Russian military forces is that they have a lot of artillery pieces. They may not have as many guys as they want, right, in terms of manpower, but they have a lot of artillery, and they have a lot of, tanks in terms of, they may not be that great at tanks, but they have a lot of artillery pieces.
I think the great thing about it is, this whole thing, I think, has shown the weakness of the Russian military. I think Putin has completely overplayed his hand and showed weakness where everybody assumed strength before. I've done several streams on Russia's superior technology, and then you look at the war in Ukraine, you're like, what happened?
If you're an 8th grader, and if you're used to slapping around 1st graders, then you think you're the fucking ball. I'm like cursing a lot today, and I'm sorry. If you're an 8th grader and you're slapping around 1st graders, then you think you're pretty awesome. But then you go up against, a strong 6th grader, and then maybe you get a bloody nose, right? And then you're thinking, wow, this didn't turn out the way I wanted. Because, Putin's been slapping around people in Syria, in the Caucasus for so long that he's like, yeah, I'm just going to roll into Ukraine in 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since Afghanistan when they got punched in the face by the jihadists there. Yeah. That's my thing. Like, my opinion is, as you said, I'm anti-authoritarian, and Putin is clearly that. So I think that, America should be invested. But if we're not, at least take that Afghanistan approach that we took. Where we have this direct policy. Like, I think we even paid for like Russian dead in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's what I would like to see from America, because what I see in the media is just gung-ho, and then this kind of like deflection from the true issues of what's actually going on in America. That's what I don't like about it. But I wish Biden was a bit stronger. And as I haven't really seen that, but if they are starting to get weapons from us, then I think that'll be a great help. I was watching Brian Craig this morning, and he's this Republican conservative dude, totally pro-Trumper, and they were talking smack about like Ukraine firing those couple missiles into Russia and hitting these strategic targets in Russia. And I'm like, dude, Russia invaded their country, and you're bitching about a couple missiles. Like, what?
If I was interviewing him, I'd be like, so when did Republicans become pussies? When did that happen? I mean, come on.
It's so weird to see it.
Your boy Reagan was joking about bombing the USSR, which was crazy. Don't get me wrong, but he was joking about it like 40 years ago, and now you guys are like crying over the fact that the Ukraine has shot a couple of missiles into Russia. That's it's insane. That's what it is.
They're like, why are you escalating the war? Like, dude, how can you escalate it further when they're in your country trying to take it?
Well, at a certain point, they understand. The MAGA people understand that a defeat of Putin means a defeat of Trumpism in this country. That's what they understand implicitly. And it's completely true because let's face it, Trump had some Russian support in 2016, and a defeat of Putinism is a defeat of Trumpism. And that's right. The U.S. has been sending shoulder-mounted Javelin and Stinger missiles. Stinger missiles is what they use in Afghanistan to shoot down a lot of helicopters.
Yeah, and the javelins were what we withheld from them. One of the things we withheld with them when Trump was impeached, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But they've been having javelins now for a while, and if you look, there's a lot of videos on YouTube and on Twitter about, and they're excellent weapon systems, shoulder mounted. They're expensive, but what they do is that they shoot, of course, out of the tube, and then they focus their energy onto the top of the tank, which is the weakest part of the armor. And so it's really simple to use, and highly effective at the same time.
And especially effective against Russian armor. That was the key, and that's like when Trump withheld them, trying to get dirt on Biden. It's like how can these Republicans even pretend that this isn't an issue right here, considering Russia has always been the party or the Republicans have always been the anti-Russian party, and supposedly the Democrats were pro-Russia, and now that's completely flipped its script.
Yeah, and it all has to do with domestic politics, right? And it has to, and think about it. If it were, if the Republican Party wasn't controlled by MAGA hats, right? If they were just quote unquote traditional Republicans, then they'd be anti-Russia too. They'd be anti-Putin.
Well, shit, we'd probably be in the mix of World War III right now, because all the war hawks in the Republican Party would feel just free to be like gung ho, let's go. But because Trump's there to kind of hold them back, like they don't even know what Trump wants from this. Like 1 minute he's pro Putin, the other minute he's pro Ukraine, and I don't think that a lot of the MAGA people even really, half of them are pro Russia and half of them are pro Ukraine. You got Hannity, who's a Trumper, that's pro Ukraine, and then you got Carlson, who's pro Russia. So I don't think they know what to do.
And Carlson is pro testicle tanning. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
D. Parks makes an interesting point there about what's kept Putin from using chemical weapons or nukes. But I think if chemical weapons were used, that might trigger NATO to declare the Ukraine a NATO protectorate.
Yeah,
and just go in.
Part of Ukraine. Yeah, they don't want that. They and probably China advise against it. Right? Because
it would at least bring the potential of the rest of the world jumping in. But then again, I don't even think we would then. I mean, just look at Syria when Assad was using the chemical. We stayed away from it. We didn't. Yeah. We hardly did.
Well,
anything.
Remember, that's the brown person problem, and is that when it happens to brown people, well, what can we do? But when it happens to white people in Europe, hey, we got to do something.
Got to take it seriously.
I agree. I never thought a statement's ever been uttered. Well, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's a lot of the truth. I think that if Ukraine was a brown country, we wouldn't be talking about it near as much as we do.
Yeah. So, Rage, if you're doing a stream about this topic, I'd love to, and if you're having people on, let me know, because I'm intrigued. I always like to talk about it.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a political open room again, and I've kind of stayed away from the Ukraine thing, especially like when I first started talking about it. I pissed a lot of people off with my anti-war stance, so I kind of stayed away with it. But I would love to do that, and I would love to have people on that would actually talk about it, and not like steer it towards religion.
Well, yes, I mean, there are religious aspects to this conflict, of course. The Russian Orthodox Church has its nose right up Putin's butt at this point, and has been for years. So supposedly there was a piece of the True Cross on the Moskva, that ship that went down, right?
Mm-hmm. That was my piece.
What's that?
That was my piece of the True Cross. I want it back.
I know. Sad. Single tear.
Oh, yeah. And Putin's definitely used the Orthodox Church there to get a kind of rein in on the people, to keep their support. His anti-gay laws, have pretty much cemented him in the straight cis community of Russia. So he's got that support that's pretty much just undying from those types.
Yep, definitely. Lordy, indeed.
If you have this show, please drop in and let us know when you're having it. I mean, we're all subscribed and stuff, but I don't.
I definitely will. I'll set it up, and I'll definitely shoot Andy an email, and I'm hoping now that we've hired people that I'm actually going to get on my first shift schedule. So it would,
Well, that was your
free
idea.
up my
That was
evenings.
the plan, right? You wanted to
Yeah,
do
that
the
was
first shift.
that's the reason I took the job. Since I was supposed to be on first shift,
Yeah.
And the weed, of course.
The 50% off
Yeah.
weed. So let me ask you this, Rage.
What a great deal.
Tobin's like face lightens up. 50% off weed, legal weed.
Yeah, I can get an ounce for like $25.
No. Wow.
Yeah,
Party
case of
over at
beer.
Rage's place.
Case of beer.
See, if I knew that, Rage, I was in Chicago. Big Zebra, maybe you should get that. Maybe you should get one of those rapid tests. I mean, even here in the States, they're free. At least here in Massachusetts, they're.
I caught at the same time. I figured we hit the bowl at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Could be. Yeah, maybe I will. There's a rapid test around here somewhere else.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I'm
just, but if you look at my nose and see how long it is, that's a lot of space to push up.
Especially with those rapid tests, a lot of the swabs are very small. So yeah. So Rach,
and of course, if I get one, the whole herd will want one, and it's a whole thing.
Well, you got to think about the safety of the herd because zebras have a tendency of flocking. Flocking, that's not right. Dazzling together, I think, or whatever you guys do, whatever y'all do.
We just hang out.
Just hang out, right? So, Rach, I got to ask you, how's the smoke cessation doing? I know that was something that you were wrestling with.
Yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
I failed. I've probably failed 1,000 times in the last year.
That's okay.
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna keep going at it. I got a new quit date set. I just had a recent lung appointment that kind of freaked me out again. So, I'm just gonna keep quitting until I quit.
And that's normal.
It'll be easier now because I was trying to quit in times of high stress, and I don't think that's a good idea. I was behind on everything. I'd gotten behind on everything. So now that I'm not behind on anything, I'm hoping it'll be a little easier because I'm not so stressed out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my heart goes out to you. Physical, cigarettes, nicotine. It's a physical addiction, and typically people have to take many swings at that ball to get it done.
Tough. It's definitely been tough. I don't like myself when I just become this asshole that nobody can stand when I quit.
Maybe you should start a blog and then you can write all the horrible thoughts you have.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. The recent blog article I wrote, which you can find on Only Sky, is about Tucker Carlson's Panini penis press. Of course, it's a takeoff of the testicular, canning. But the Tucker Carlson's Panini penis press, I thought, was childish enough for me to write it out.
I'm looking for that article right now.
I think I might have seen it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I did. I made this conscious decision to, get off my pills and just start drinking again, and that's been a big improvement.
Okay. Okay, so it's the last minute and a half of the show, and I don't really know what that means.
I literally have a drink.
I got off my pills, and I don't drink much. I have a few beers after work, and it's so much better. I go to sleep, and even when I'm streaming and I'm talking to people, I'm not just going off on them like all crazy like I have for the last 2 years since I got on the pills. But at the same time, it's like, man, I went 2 years and I didn't drink, but it makes me chiller and I'm nicer, and it helps me go to sleep at night, which I was having huge issues with.
Well, finding a way to get yourself to sleep is important. It took me quite a while to get my sleep patterns down, and now they're somewhat manageable at this point.
Yeah, my tarsal tunnel is out of control, dude. So it's like it's really hard to go to sleep, and the pills just weren't doing it. It was like, I don't know, they just kind of jacked me up and made me stay awake.
What the hell's going on with the operation? Has that ever gotten cleared? Or
I think without a doubt they're going to have to give it to me because it's just gotten so bad. But I'm going to get a second doctor. The one that he's just been dicking me around for a year. So I'm just I've actually got a good referral. So I set up an appointment and I'm just waiting on that first appointment. And I think it'll be pretty quick because it's just progressed so far at this point. Like I said, I can't sleep, unless I have a few beers when I get home from work because it just doesn't. The pills weren't cutting into it.
Maybe if you tell your new doctor, you can get them weed for 50% off.
I get a little hookup.
Maybe what you should do is just before you drive home from work, drink 3 or 4 beers, so that you'll be in the right mood when you arrive home.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Sorry, I was just being.
Except, the whole, driving home.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I know.
Problem.
I just like the really bad advice. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I know you got to go, but it's even really helped in my conversation. Like I said, in my conversations with Christians, I'm just not flipping out. I was going off. I was going off for like 2 years, going crazy. So, I think it was the pills doing that. I think that it was in me as well. But the pills were just bringing out this really nasty side of me when I was talking to people in conflict.
Once again, if you're switching medications or if you're on new medications, and I say this in jest, but I'm not really. It's important to have a friend who's an accountability buddy to just spot you while you're taking or changing medications, because I've seen people go off the deep end with medication, like prescribed medication too. And everyone should have someone there just spotting them when they change medications. Yeah,
I agree with that. I definitely didn't have that because they were changing my medications all the damn time. It was crazy. Definitely been better. Like, I joke, like, I started drinking again made me better, but it's kind of a sad statement at the same time.
All right. On that happy note, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Tobin Bevelman, Big Zeb, Rage, everyone in the chat. Thanks for showing up. Right. I think we had some kind of conversation. You've learned things. I don't know. Shamla. That's right. Same crazy thing tomorrow, everyone. Take care.